Welcome back to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jam. The weekend, the weekend was filled with a lot. NFL draft went on, finished up on Saturday. Talk about that. NBA playoffs still rocking and rolling. We'll talk about that. Today is gonna be like it has been the last week or so, NBA and NFL content. So we're gonna stick with that. We're gonna stick with that. We're gonna start it off by talking about the NFL draft. To recap, break it down. Before we get into any of that though, tips and donations. Tips and donations are always greatly appreciated. By tipping and donating, it shows you guys care about the content that we're putting out, and we're putting out the best content that we can. So if you do want to show your support and you want to tip or donate to us and you're in the live stream, feel free to do that with the super chat and sticker feature. And if you're not in the live stream and want to tip or donate, feel free to do that with the two links in the YouTube bio and in the description. If you don't want to tip or donate and you still want to show support, feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube video, the YouTube short video that we post, or the live stream comment section. I'll see the live stream ones as soon as they pop up. So if you want to ask a question, I'll get to that as soon as I can. And like I said, though, even if you want to tip or donate, show your support, feel free to do that with the super chat and sticker feature if you're in the live stream. And if you're not in the live stream, the two links in the bio and in the description. With that being said, let's get into topic number one for today. With that being the NFL draft recap/breakdown. The NFL draft is finally concluded. Well, it concluded on Saturday, but we weren't working on Saturday. We were watching the draft. But it finally concluded on Saturday it was finished in Green Bay. It was Green Bay. First time in a while it was in Green Bay, and I believe I saw around 600,000 total attendees from the week, which is very impressive. 600,000 is a very, very impressive amount of people to show out for a draft. The draft, I feel like, is getting bigger and bigger each year. More people are showing out. More people are coming out to support their city, and it's awesome seeing people go out and show their support. But the NFL draft had a lot of twists and turns, I guess you could say. You got, sorry about that. You got, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, first two overall picks. Shedeur Sanders jumping all the way down to the fifth round. It was insane. A lot of guys were taken early who were expected to. A lot of guys weren't taken early who were expected to go pretty early. So obviously we'll talk about that. The first three overall picks, Cam Ward, Shedeur, Abdul-Carter. Those three were the guaranteed. I think everybody who followed the draft, who followed college football, agreed those three will be the first three overall people to go in the draft. And they were. And it was only a matter of what team chose them. We all knew Cam Ward was going one. The Titans needed a quarterback, and Cam Ward is their guy to help solve their quarterback problem. And, they took their sweet time. I'm not sure why they took so long to draft him at the first overall pick because they knew they were going to take him. But, they got him first overall pick, and Tennessee has got themselves, hopefully, a new franchise QB to bring them back to where they were back in 2021 with the first overall seed in the AFC. Then you have, Travis Hunter and Abdul-Carter. No one really knew which one was going to be first overall or second and third overall. It was kind of a toss-up who was going to get which one. But in all of my mock drafts, I had Travis Hunter going number 2. I thought the Browns were going to take him, and I was right. He went number 2. He just didn't go to the Browns. He went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who ended up trading up to the 2 seed and gave the Browns a lot of picks, and they gave him a lot of load. They gave them a lot to get the second overall pick, and they got it. Drafted Travis Hunter. And, the Jags, they got a generational talent in Travis Hunter. Two-way player, Heisman winner, could come back and, maybe bring the Jags back to what they were back in 2018 when they made it to the AFC Championship. We know with Flores, phenomenal team. We had, Jalen Ramsey was still on that team. But, maybe Travis Hunter alone is good enough to finally bring back Jacksonville to, what they used to be. A good, a decent team. Not amazing, but not the laughing stock of the league. I mean, Travis Hunter is just that good of a player, and maybe if he's good enough, hopefully he is, he will bring the Jacksonville Jaguars some success, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a playoff, who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if within a year or two, not this year, I don't think he'll make an I hope he makes an immediate impact, but I still think the Jags are very, very limited on a lot of their play. I think Trevor Lawrence, I just don't think he's that good of a quarterback. I mean, they just signed him to a pretty big extension, pretty big deal. So, the Jacksonville Jaguars think he's a pretty good quarterback, but overall, I don't really think he's the best. I mean, then you got, excuse me, I don't know why I'm so tired. They got Travis Etienne, great running back, but he's injured a lot, and he was injured like almost all of last year. So that's a problem for him. But I mean, you got, like I said, Travis Hunter, the best overall athlete in the draft, two-way player, quarterback and receiver. Hopefully, he can, bring some promise to the Jacksonville Jaguars team and bring them back to what they once were. Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3. I mean, that's what I thought was going to happen the entire time. I thought he was going to the Giants, and I was right. Him, Kayvon, and Dexter Lawrence is going to be a very scary defensive line. Honestly, I think the Giants in general had a very good draft. Cam Skattebo out of ASU, very underrated running back. He was very slept on all season, and a lot of people didn't really know who he was until that playoff game. And me neither. I really didn't, follow ASU football a lot this year. I have some friends who go to ASU, but I'm not asking them, how these guys do this weekend. Like, I'm not asking them that. I don't follow them. But seeing ASU, make a name for themselves this year, make it all the way to the playoffs, first ever 12-team playoff, and they made it. I mean, they made a name. Cam Skattebo was the reason they were still in that game against Texas that entire time. He was making catches downfield, making big runs. I mean, he's an absolute tank. And the Giants got probably the most underrated running back in the draft, the best defensive player or defensive end in the draft, I'll say. Maybe not the best overall player, but the best defensive end. Maybe the best defensive player. But they got some really good players out of this draft. The Giants had a very sneakily good draft. And, they're going to be a good team. The Giants this year could, maybe take a leap, with this young core they just acquired, and maybe make a. I mean, NFC East is a bloodbath. Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, they are going to be. It's a very hard conference every year, except for 2020. That year they didn't count, but NFC East is very lethal, very scary division to play in. I mean, just so many good teams in there, and I mean, it's going to be very hard for them to take the next big step because of how good that conference is, division. But if they're able to, they can, if they can somehow play good enough, maybe make their way into a wild card spot this year. With that young roster they got, I wouldn't be surprised. Just a thought, something to think about. Then we got, some other teams. Seahawks, Jalen Milroe, 3rd, 4th round pick. It's kind of crazy. Talk about his first. Shedeur Sanders. He was, it's Shedeur Sanders. Everybody thought top 10 pick, top 1st round pick for sure. He drops all the way to the 5th round. And he could have went a lot earlier. The Browns could have taken him in the 3rd round instead of Gabriel. The Seahawks could have taken him over Milroe. The Saints could have taken him over Tyler I mean, there was just so many options available. I mean, it's insane. A lot of these QBs dropped really far this year. Will Howard out of Ohio State. He went in the 5th round to the Steelers, who needed a quarterback, so I'm glad they got one. Quinn Ewers in the 6th round went to the Dolphins. I mean, all of these quarterbacks went pretty far. They dropped really far in this draft. And it was kind of surprising to see these big-name quarterbacks who thought, they could make some noise, drop to 5th and 6th rounds. But obviously the best obviously you got the really good quarterbacks who are going 1st round. And I feel like the quarterbacks who were taken later in the draft, the 5th and 6th rounds, tend to last a little longer. I mean, obviously the greatest ever, Tom Brady, he was a 5th round. He was a 6th round pick. I mean, more recently, I guess you could say, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, last overall pick in the draft. He's won 2 NFC championships, 1 NFC championship. I forgot how many exactly. But these later pick guys can make a name for themselves, especially if Will Howard can. The Steelers QB room is basically non-existent. I mean, they really don't have a QB right now, and Will Howard, honestly, right now is their guy. And this Will Howard can absolutely, if played right, can fit into that system very well. He's a very good QB, phenomenal at Ohio State. So we'll have to wait and see how he plays, in spring camp, training camp. But I think he 100% can help the Steelers, just be a good contending team. They make the playoffs every year, and they lose in the first round for the past 7 years. And maybe this year they can finally get over that hump with Will Howard and make a name for themselves. I mean, we'll have to wait and see because they got a good team. They got Jack Sawyer at their defensive end. Their defense is still amazing, but their offense is kind of lacking now. They don't really have any receivers. I mean, they do got Pickens and DK Metcalf, but they lost. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. If they don't have a good quarterback, they're not going to have a good receiving core. You need a good quarterback to have a good receiving core, and if Will Howard doesn't play well, they don't really have much to go back on. So I'm not sure. They got a lot to figure out over there in Pittsburgh. But this draft overall was a very good draft. A lot of players who kind of didn't see going early went early. A lot of players you think would go early didn't, like Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, Shadur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel getting picked up by the Browns in the third round was kind of I didn't see that one coming. But just a lot of obscure picks this draft, and very interesting stories behind a lot of them. But overall, it was a really good draft. I really did enjoy watching this draft, seeing a lot of these players, make a name for themselves, get finally drafted, go prove themselves in the league somewhere. So I'm excited that all these guys got drafted, and this is just one step closer for the NFL season to finally start again in late August and early September, just around that time. So that's all I got for this segment. Next segment, we're sticking with the NFL. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns in the cute quarterback room. After that, we're going to the NBA, talk about the NBA playoff games from this weekend. We'll preview the game for tonight, and then talk about the Eastern Conference and the playoffs right now, just the Eastern Conference. But we'll get to all that after the break.